Welcome to my kitchen. It's that time of the year. It's tomato season. I'm here at my favorite place, the farmer's market. Here where you find all the local farmers bring the most beautiful, fresh, different assortment of tomatoes, different shapes, different colors, different kind of tomatoes that you will never find anywhere else or any other time of the year, but this time of the year where the tomatoes are the freshest, the sweetest, and the best. I'm here at the farmer's market to need to get some different kind of tomatoes for the meals that I'm making for today. In today's show, I'll be making tomato and cheddar tart. I'll be making cheese and onion loaf bread, or tomato cups, and tomato salad with pickled onions. I also need some scallions, so I need two scallions, please. Thank you so much. Look how beautiful and fresh these scallions are. Love them. Smells so good. Thank you so much. We are back from the farmer's market, and look those beautiful tomatoes that we picked. It's great time to buy these wonderful tomatoes. It's end of summer season, and that's when the tomatoes are the best. The sweetest, they are beautiful, they have different shapes, different colors, different sizes, and it's the best time to get the tomatoes from the farmer's market. We will start off by making the dough for the onion cheddar loaf bread. I need 2 to 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil in a sauté pan, and I had chopped 1 large onion that we will sauté until brown. The onion, it's beautiful, it's tender, it's soft, and it's brown. We'll remove it from the heat and we'll let it sit on the side to cool off completely before we add it to the dough. Onion had been sitting to cool off, so it's ready to go. We don't want to use warm or hot onion because that might mess up a recipe for the dough for us. So the onion has been cooled off. Now what we need is 3/4 cup of lukewarm water, 1 cup of lukewarm milk, temperature between 98 and 105. To this, I will add 2.5 teaspoons, equivalent to 1 envelope of dry yeast, and we'll let it sit for 5 minutes. Now we'll add 4 cups of bread flour. We'll level the cup. 1 at a time. We're just going to add 1 cup at a time. We'll use the mixing attachment to mix the yeast mixture with the flour. To this, I will add 1 teaspoon of salt, and I will keep gradually add the remaining flour. So we need to add 3 more cups of bread flour. Keep mixing until everything is nicely incorporated. Now everything gets nicely mixed with each other. I will change the mixing attachment to the dough hook attachment to finish kneading the dough. I'll add 1.5 cups of shredded extra sharp cheddar cheese and the cooled off onion that we sauteed earlier goes in the mix. Now we'll have the dough hook attachment to finish kneading the dough. We'll scrape the sides and make sure everything is nicely incorporated with the cheese and the onion to form a smooth dough. And we'll keep mixing for another minute or so. Now we will remove the dough. We'll transfer it to a bowl that's brushed with some olive oil. Smells really, really good. The sauteed onion with the cheese. What a beautiful combination. Cover it with some saran wrap. And a kitchen towel. And we'll let it sit until it's doubled in size for an hour to hour and a half. Our dough, it's been resting for about an hour and a half. Look how beautiful and risen the dough is. Gently, we will remove the plastic wrap and the kitchen towel. We'll transfer the dough onto work surface. It smells so good. The onion with the cheese. We'll transfer it into work surface. Sprinkled and dusted with some flour. We'll divide the dough into 2 portions. We'll leave 1 portion in the bowl and we'll divide. We'll roll it out, stretch it a little bit. We will divide each portion into about 10 to 12 equal portions. I brushed a loaf pan 13 by 5 inches with some olive oil. I will sprinkle the bottom and the sides with some cornmeal. That's going to give us a crusty loaf bread. And now what I would do is I will form each portion of the dough into a smooth ball and will line it on the prepared pan. One next to each other. You want to leave some space because this loaf, it's going to sit to rest for another hour, 45 minutes to an hour actually. So we need to leave some room in between. Now, on top, we will sprinkle some cheese, cheddar, using extra sharp here. Then I will divide the second portion of dough into 10 equal portions. I will form each portion into a smooth ball and will go on top of the first layer of dough. We'll cover it with some saran wrap. And kitchen towel. And we'll let it sit for about 45 minutes to 1 hour to rest. Now we'll check on our bread. It's been sitting for about an hour, and look how beautiful and risen the bread is. It's risen all the way to the top, and this is exactly how we want it. We'll sprinkle some more shredded cheddar on top. We'll bake the bread in the oven, 375 degrees for about 40 minutes. We'll check on our loaf bread. It looks so beautiful. Look how beautiful, how golden, how beautiful the cheese is melting on the loaf. It looks amazing. We'll set it on the side to cool off for about 10 to 15 minutes before slicing the bread. Now it's time for us to make the dough for the tart. For this recipe, I need 2 cups of all-purpose flour. We'll level the cup and then go in a large mixing bowl like that. It's a beautiful and flaky tart. And to this, I'll add 1 stick, half cup of butter, unsalted butter, cold. I will slice to about 1/4-inch slices. I want to make sure it's cold because that's what's going to make the tart dough very flaky. We want to see pieces of butter within the flour mixture. So what I would do is we'll just rub the butter slices into the flour, and all the pieces of butter are nicely incorporated in the flour. It looks like sand, it looks like cornmeal, and this is exactly how we want it. Now to this we will add 3 tablespoons of sugar, half teaspoon of salt, 4 to 6 tablespoons of milk, depending on how wet and soft the dough will be. So I will add 3 for right now, and then I'll keep adding as I need it. And then also I need to add 1 to 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice. I will add 2 tablespoons right now, and if I need more, I'll add maybe 1 or 2 more, depending on how soft the dough is going to be. Perfect. And now we'll mix everything together. I think I'll add another tablespoon of milk, and that should do it. We'll keep mixing. The dough is coming together, and it's almost forming a soft and pliable dough. Looks really good now. We don't want to overwork the dough. This looks really good. We'll form it into a smooth ball, and I'll wrap it into some plastic wrap. We'll form it into a nice disc, flatten it for a little bit. And this will go in the fridge for about 1 hour to cool off. While we are waiting for the tart dough to cool off in the fridge, we will prepare the filling for the tomato tart. So I have 2 pounds of tomatoes that I will slice in about 1/4 inch thickness. Look how beautiful and gorgeous this tomato looks. And I will place it on a baking sheet lined with some paper towel. We want to make sure all the liquid is going to drain off from the tomato, so we don't want to end up with soggy tart. We'll have varieties of different kinds. Look how beautiful this golden tomatoes is. So beautiful, love those golden ones. And we'll use, it's almost like multicolor. Tomato we're using almost, it's a mixture of green and red together. I'm using 2 kinds of cherry tomatoes. I'm using golden color and red color. Beautiful tomatoes. So I'll just slice them in half. And just place them cut side down on the paper towel that we are using to line our baking sheet in it. And then I'll put another 2 layers of paper towel on top to drain all the liquid. And we'll set it on the side for 15 to 20 minutes to drain. While we are waiting for the tomatoes to drain, and it looks really good. It drained a lot of the liquid. We'll still cover it. We will prepare the remaining ingredients for our filling. So here I have 2 scallions that I washed, and we will trim. Green onions that we will chop finely, the white part and the green part. Looks good. We'll transfer the green onion into this glass bowl. To this, I'll add 1/2 cup mayonnaise, 2 tablespoons of sugar. That's going to make it real nice and sweet, and it's going to add to the sweetness of the tomatoes. 1/2 teaspoon of salt goes mix. 1 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper. It's perfect. 1 tablespoon of vinegar. You could use apple cider or red wine vinegar, any vinegar will be fine. Mix everything together until nicely incorporated, and set it on the side. I have some fresh dill here in my herb indoor garden that I will just remove the small leaves and set them on the side to use for the filling. Just break them into smaller pieces, just like that, about 1 to 2 tablespoons chopped dill. If you don't have fresh dill, you can always use dried ones.
all what you need to use, and it's about half tablespoon of dried dill. It's more concentrated, and we'll add this to the scallion and mayonnaise mixture. Perfect. Then here I have 2.5 cups of extra sharp cheddar that's already shredded and it's ready for us to go. To this I will grate about 1/4 cup of parmesan cheese, maybe a little bit over 1/4 cup. Should be good. And mix them until nicely blended together. Now everything that we need for the filling of our tart is ready. The cheese mixes are ready. The mayonnaise and scallion mixture is ready, and our tomatoes are already sliced and it's been draining, and it's ready for us to make the tart now, so we can use all this filling on top of the tart. Our dough, it's been sitting in the fridge for about a little bit over an hour actually, so it's nice and cold. We'll remove the saran wrap, and then we'll place it in between 2 pieces of plastic wrap. We'll roll it out in between the 2 pieces of plastic wrap into about 12 to 14 inches in diameter. Now the dough is nice and thin, and it should fit in the tart part that we're using. We're using a 12 inches tart pan, so it looks good. We will remove the top piece of the plastic wrap, and then we will transfer the dough into the tart pan. Gently remove the other part, and then we will trim the tart dough to fit in the tart pan with a removable float trim. Now our tart, it's nicely fitted in our tart pan. I will line parchment paper on top and some pie weight. You could use dried beans. Just will spread them equally all over. I have my oven preheated to 375 degrees. We'll bake it for about 10 to 12 minutes. We'll check on our tart. We'll take it out and set it on the side to cool off. Now we will remove the parchment paper and the pie weight from the tart. Set them on the side. We will arrange our filling on the tart. First of all, I will sprinkle 2 tablespoons of cornmeal on the bottom of the tart. This will help catch any liquid draining from the tomatoes, so we will not end up with saggy tart. Then I will sprinkle some cheese. Spread it evenly, and we will arrange tomato tomato slices. Doesn't matter what color or okay, and in the middle we'll put some cherry tomatoes to give it a nice design. Perfect. We'll probably use some more tomatoes here to fill in all the space. It's perfect. Then to this I will add half of the mayonnaise and scallion mixture. Perfect. Just kind of spread it like that. Then I will sprinkle this with some more cheese. And some more tomatoes. Then the remaining mayonnaise and scallion mixture on top. Perfect. Some more cheese. This is going to be an amazing tart. It's going to be so delicious. And more tomato slices. And the remaining cheese. We'll bake the tart in the oven for 35 to 40 minutes until golden brown. We'll check on our tart. It's been baking in the oven for 45 minutes. And it looks amazing. Look how golden and brown. Look how beautifully the cheese is melted over the tomatoes. And it smells amazing too. We'll set it on the side for about an hour or so before we slice it. Now I'm ready to make the herb tomato cups. They're so beautiful and it's gonna taste so good. It's something different that you usually don't make all the time, but when the tomatoes are in season, this is the best time to make them. When the herbs are in season, the tomatoes are in season, and it's gonna be delicious. So I have 4 large tomatoes. Before I do anything, what I need to do is I will just scoop the stem out and then slice the tomato in half, pierce the bottom a few times with a fork and set it on paper towel to drain all the water. Cut it crosswise in half and pierce with a fork on few sides. We'll set it on the side for about 15 to 20 minutes. Our tomatoes are been sitting over the paper towel to drain all the liquid, and if you can see the paper towel, it's very wet. It drains so much of the liquid from the tomatoes. So what I would do now is I will heat the skillet and then I'll add 3 to 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. Now we'll add the tomato into the oil, cut side up. And we'll let them cook for about 20 to 30 minutes until tender, uncovered. Now we'll prepare the herb mixer that goes on top of the tomatoes after they are cooked. So for this, I need 2 tablespoons of chopped rosemary, 2 cloves garlic, chopped finely, 2 tablespoons of basil leaves, chopped finely. I'm using all fresh herbs, 2 tablespoons of oregano leaves, and 2 tablespoons of flat leaf parsley, 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, 1 teaspoon of black pepper just to season. You could use more or less depending how spicy you want it to be. This is good. And some salt to season, about maybe half teaspoon of salt. We'll mix all these ingredients together. Look at this. What a beautiful combination of herbs. So healthy for you, so flavorful, and they're gonna make a great topping on the tomatoes that we are sauteing now. This is an amazing recipe. Our tomatoes are been cooking for about 30 minutes actually. They're beautiful, nice and tender. We will remove them to a baking tray. Perfect. And now we will divide the herb mixture evenly among all the tomato cups. Looks so beautiful. Smells so good. The colors are beautiful. This herb mixture is gonna give it an amazing flavor. Some of the liquid that drained from the tomatoes on top. That has some olive oil in it. And it's almost like caramelized tomatoes. It's really gonna give it some flavor. I have my oven preheated to broil. I will broil the tomato cups for about 3 minutes. You can hear our tomato cups sizzling. All the beautiful herbs on top. Look how beautiful. They are so nice, so soft, and they will be so sweet after having them on broil. With all these herbs and the garlic and the olive oil, they'll be amazing. We'll set them on the side to cool off for a few minutes before serving them. Now it's time for us to make the tomato salad with pickled onions. First of all, we will start with the pickled onions. I have 1 medium-sized red onion. I like using red onion for this recipe, where there is like maximum flavor from the red onion, and the color is going to be beautiful, and it will work really beautifully with the tomato salad that we have. I will cut it in half, and then thinly I will slice it crosswise so we can have many layers. I will try to separate all these layers. Then to this, I will zest 1 whole lemon over the onions. And then we need 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. Try to catch any seeds that comes out from squeezing the lemon. Depending on how juicy the lemon is, sometimes you can have more than 3 tablespoons from 1 lemon. So this is good. This is about 3 tablespoons. And then we'll add 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. 2 and 3. And then we'll add some salt to season. We'll mix everything nicely together. And we'll let it sit for about 1 hour. Now the onions are been sitting for about 1 hour and they are beautiful and pickled already. I will just sprinkle some on the sliced tomatoes. I use many colored of tomatoes, many different shapes and sizes. Use golden tomatoes, red tomatoes, even some green tomatoes. Then I will arrange some basil leaves on top just to give it some more color. Perfect. And then some freshly ground black pepper. Perfect. And then we'll drizzle some of that juice from the pickled onions on top. This will be our dressing. And that's it. Salad is done. Look how beautiful and gorgeous and healthy. And if that doesn't tell you summertime, I don't know what else will. Freshness, and it's amazing. Just look at it. Sprinkle some Parmesan cheese on top of the tomato cups, just a little bit. Today's show was very, very exciting. We made beautiful, beautiful dishes using the most beautiful tomatoes that they are in season now. We had golden tomatoes, red tomatoes, green tomatoes. We had different canned tomatoes in different shapes, different sizes, different colors. So in today's show, we made tomatoes and cheddar tart, made cheese and onion loaf of bread, herb tomato cups, and tomato salad with pickled onions. Thank you so much for coming to my kitchen. We hope to see you next time with more exotic dishes.